In this next segment, we're going to talk about a very serious subject, and that's the extreme danger of loaded guns coming into the shop by surprise. I've got a little personal story I want to tell you first. When I was a young gunsmith, taking a break from Lassen College Gunsmithing School to work at Sims Hardware in Sacramento, a very famous gun shop for many, many years. One place Bob Dunlap actually worked at when he was a young smith, so been around for a long time. Anyway, the owner was working the front counter, and it was their responsibility to clear every firearm when it came back into the gun shop and went onto the rack. But, as we all know, it's every one of ours responsibility every time we pick up a gun to check it, to clear it, and handle it safely. Well, I didn't do that. I made the assumption, right, and pulled the gun off the rack to do a mount a scope, stuck it in the vise, mounted the scope, and then it was a Savage 99, remember it vividly. And because I wanted to make sure the screws did not go down into the receiver at all and bind up the action, I reached underneath, moved the lever, and just as I was about to close it, I caught a flash of brass. And I went, stop. I looked, and the gun had been loaded in the magazine. It was empty in the chamber. But nobody had checked that gun. So first I chewed myself out. Then I chewed out the owner of the store. And he wasn't used to, a young buck doing that. But he admitted he was wrong, and it got everybody else on their toes. So I want to make sure that every time you pick up and touch a gun, even if you swear that you just saw somebody else clear it, you clear it, you be responsible for it. Let's take a look at what Ken has to say.
Hi, I'm Ken Brooks. Welcome to another tip from the workbench from AGI. This tip comes from our shipping bench, or our receiving bench. I'm going to talk about loaded guns. You can see this gun here in front of me has this bright red tag on it that says loaded. You're going to get a gun that's loaded or jammed from time to time. This particular gun came into the shop loaded and jammed. If we can't clear the jam rapidly, when the customer first brings it in, then we put this tag on it, we make sure that the gun is safe and it goes in a specific spot where we can keep an eye on it until we can clear it. We try to clear it as quickly as possible later that day if we can get to it. We keep it where other customers can't run into it, and the reason it has the tag on it is A, for customers that come in and are looking around, B, for the other gunsmith. If I take this gun in and put this tag on it, it's jammed but loaded. When Bob comes in, he sees this, he automatically knows that this gun has a live round in it somewhere. This one happens to be in the magazine tube, so it's not quite the tragedy that it could be or the chaotic circumstances that it could be. This customer did it right. When he came in, he said, I have a firearm out in the vehicle that is loaded but jammed and I cannot unjam it. Can I bring it in? That's the good way. Most of your customers, 99 times out of 100, that's the kind of customer who's going to come in. He's going to tell you before he comes walking through the door swinging that gun around. You will from time to time have a guy come in with a gun over his shoulder, in his hand, whatever, and it's loaded, either in the magazine, ready to go, or jammed for whatever, but a loaded gun. Normally when they bring in a gun and they hand it to me and they don't tell me the magazine's loaded or it's jammed or there's live rounds somewhere, they get a fee. It gets added to their labor. I don't tell them right now, oh, this gun's loaded, you should have told me, give me $5. No, but their bill, it gets added to their bill. Now, if a guy comes in and hands me an auto pistol, and I take the magazine out, and the magazine's loaded, and I pull the slide back, and it kicks a live round out, I get a little frustrated, and I tell the customer, and he knows it. What are you doing coming in with a loaded gun, giving it to me, live round in the chamber? That's a no-no. Be up front with your customers, and they will appreciate it in the long run. Shipping and handling. We get some guns that from time to time that are jammed or loaded in the mail. Now, this is a big no-no. If the shipping companies found out, they would have a coronary, and I don't blame them. So if we get a gun and it's loaded in the package and there's no note, no nothing saying loaded, we give them a big fee right off the top as well. And I write that right on their repair tag. They know. They're paying however much we deem is necessary for a loaded gun in the mail. They get it right off the top, so they know, oh, we screwed up, Normally, they'll call you, hey, I got a gun coming to you. Be aware it's coming from Joe Spivey Enterprises, whoever, and it's jammed or it's loaded. Be aware we couldn't get the gun unjammed, unloaded, whatever. It's safe. We've duct taped the hammer back. We've wedged stuff here and there. Most of your good guys will do that, and they will. Let's face it, most gun people are good people. So they're going to try to take care of you. Now, when I give a gun back to a guy, say it's his defense gun, he comes in the door, we look at it, we do whatever, I give him an estimate. Yeah, to put night sights on, it's $2,000. He says, okay. He's all, I'm going to save up my money and I'll bring it back in 6 months. No problem. I give him the gun back. A lot of times those guys will take their magazine and get ready to put it in the gun, and I ask them, do not load your firearm here in my shop, please. Take it outside and load it in your car. You know, and I have several close friends that are in law enforcement. When they come in, I'll tell them, you can put a live magazine in the gun, but do not load the chamber. Again, just a safety precaution. I just don't want that loaded stuff in the shop. Another thing with loaded guns is oftentimes the customer will bring you a gun unloaded, but he wants to show you the defect that he has. So I will take him over to my bench, keep the gun pointed in a safe direction, and I will try to load the gun. I will load the gun and try to replicate the jam. This is usually with bolt-action hunting rifles. If I can't, I will unscrew the firing pin and let the customer then show me, because a lot of times it has to do with his hand loads or the way he's loading the magazine, whatever. Let him hand cycle the rounds through and show me. There's too many times where the guys come in and the chamber's empty, the magazine's loaded, and he says, the jam's like this, and he starts pulling that bolt back. I stop him immediately and tell him, look, we got to be safe. We got houses all around us. We got to be safe. So, again, use common sense. Deal with your customers in a professional manner. If they come in with a loaded gun, don't scream at them, call them a bunch of four-letter words and throw things at them and run them out of the shop, because word travels fast and far, and you'll get known as a grumpy old guy, kind of like Bob. So, anyway, that's your tip from the workbench, and you guys have a good one, and be safe.